Hello, my name is John Reed. I'm Director of Automotive Solutions at Microsoft, and I'm here today with Jonsson, who is the CEO of Anata, our Automotive Partner of the Year in 2019, along with Jóhannsson, the CEO of Brimborg, one of our leading customers who've used a full suite of Microsoft technologies to help support digital transformation in their business. Our discussion today is an opportunity for us to talk a bit about the priorities that exist in the industry at the moment, beginning with COVID, and then also considering some of the fundamental transformation areas that we've been addressing with our partners and our customers over the last several years. To begin the discussion, we wanted to talk a bit about the impact of COVID-19 on our business, how Microsoft, how our partners, as well as our customers are responding to the tremendous changes as well as challenges that are present in the industry as a result. As Microsoft, we've prioritized this area of our business, and the work we do with our customers and our partners and our employees is our highest priority in this particular time. And what we've done as part of our discussion today is take an opportunity to talk about that in the context of how customers like Brimborg and partners like Anata are addressing these challenges within the context of our automotive retail, as well as truck and industrial equipment businesses, and how we see the business adjusting to these challenges over the course of the next year. So to start the discussion, Johann, can you tell us a little bit from an Anata perspective about the priorities that you have as a partner of Microsoft with your customers in this time?
Thank you, John. Happy to be here. So internally, we've had to adjust our priorities in terms of where we conduct our work. So we sent everyone home back early March to work from home, and we literally went directly into a go-live situation for multiple countries, entirely delivered remotely, and it was a tremendous success. So already from the get-go created an encouragement that we could change our own business to support the virtual nature of business that the COVID-19 situation gives us. Now, for our customers, I think the COVID situation kind of reinforced the digital transformation or the need for digital processing and digital products, which we've been focusing on for the last few years. And I think COVID-19 is obviously a challenge, but a kind of reinforcement of the strategy that was already in place.
Excellent, thank you. From the standpoint of the Brimborg business, what sort of challenges are you seeing and how are you addressing them?
Thank you, and happy to be here as well. Well, it has been a lot of challenges going through this COVID pandemic, but we were quite well prepared. We've been working with Anata and Microsoft now for more than 13 years. And in the last 3-4 years, we've been building many platforms, digitization, to support our business. For example, implementing the CRM systems and online bookings and things like that. So when the COVID-19 hit us, we were extremely well prepared and could implement new processes extremely fast. We have, you could say, several revenue streams. We are selling new cars, used cars, after sales, including workshops and spare parts, and car rental business, and heavy commercial. Car rental business, our revenue went almost to zero overnight, but we've been able to increase the local business through various initiatives using the digital platforms. We could almost overnight offer touchless rentals because of these platforms. For our workshops, we could offer touchless online booking, bringing cars to us without contacting any employees and then getting the car back, just to give you an example. And same as Anata did, we have sent a lot of people home. All our marketing people are working from home. You're using Microsoft Teams to work together. We started with quite many people going on 25% work, 50% work, 75% work. But we managed to increase revenue in recent 2-3 weeks by using different methods. And now we are going back, for example, in the workshops to 100% work, in sales departments to 60, 70 to 75%. But still the rental is in 25%, but still doing a lot of revenue, not close to 100%, with people working 25%. So different solution, all based on these investments in the last years.
Thank you. That's very good to hear. And how do you anticipate that the business may change, or what sort of different factors do you plan on focusing on over the course of maybe the next 6 months to 12 months?
I see a lot of changes coming. I'll just give you an example. When we implemented CRM, it's normally a very difficult implementation. Was same here. It's mainly human behavior you're trying to change. Of course, we had a lot of doubts 3 years back, but you could say that we have zero doubt today. People are just seeing that this is the way of doing business, and this is definitely helping us contacting and keeping track of customers and increasing the service level. So that is definitely going to be even more emphasis in the coming months. We are using that to send marketing material offers through the CRM. So we are cutting down on marketing cost. And as you know, when you lose a lot of revenue, we need to cut down cost extremely fast. And we are cutting down marketing cost maybe 70, 80% in a very short time because of this, but still managing to communicate with our customers. We are using the CRM to NPS surveys. So all automatic now. People book online. They come to our tire shops or workshops. We do the job. 2 hours later, they get the NPS survey. We know exactly if the customer satisfaction is going up or down, and we adjust our processes daily if we can see some interesting or not so good developments. I was discussing this morning with our marketing department that people, our employees are even asking, could we do this like this in the future? Not coming back to the office. So there are so many changes, and I think they will be very fast when you have this pandemic. Really, what you could say, this is hard reality, and it really makes people change their minds and do things in a different way.
Thank you very much for those insights. I think a couple of the trends that you highlighted there, the need to be flexible about how work is addressed, the way that the business processes and the opportunities for cost optimization need to be identified, as well as the advantages of having a digital framework in the business technically to support those human or business processes are crucial. As Microsoft, when we've looked at the feedback we've heard from other customers in the last weeks, what we're beginning to see are the same sort of patterns forming. That in the context of trying to address the human and the employee factors, we're beginning to see the importance of the ways that technology can provide further assistance in the basic operations of the business, as well as in areas that can support other transformation or other change that's needed to help recover revenue, to help employees be productive, and ultimately to have happy customers with whom the relationships are well structured and nurtured. With that, I wanted just to highlight 2 areas of trends that we see that, in addition to COVID, are driving Microsoft's strategy and the investments that we're making. One area is around the transformation of mobility. These factors we've talked about as Microsoft, and with our partners and customers, as well as seen them in the press. But just as a quick summary, that these factors that we call CASE, connected, autonomous, shared, and electric, are driving over the next 5 to 10 years changes in vehicles, changes in mobility and other transportation services that are fundamentally reshaping the industry in parallel with COVID, in parallel with the third factor, which is a transformation of customer experience. We've heard repeatedly that as customers have become more interested in digital experiences, and particularly now in the context of COVID, that being able to modify the customer experience to meet the needs of health and safety, to meet the preferences of consumers, to help support their shopping and their service and the mobility requirements, all require a level of technology evolution, which can be a challenge for a lot of businesses that, unlike Brimborg, may not have been as fully prepared to adopt. In order to support this transition, what we've invested in as Microsoft as a priority industry are in these areas. And you can think about the first three as sort of the domain for the transformation of mobility as well as vehicles. So that would include connected vehicles, shared mobility services, as well as autonomous development. The second area is around customer experience. That's the principal area that we're discussing today, but is interconnected with these other factors. The third area is the transformation of manufacturing and supply chain processes, not only at the OEM, but also at the distributor and retail level. And then finally, other areas of transformation in fundamental IT services, as well as in the way that employee work is supported through services like Office and Teams. The area that we're talking about today, from an investment standpoint with Microsoft and its partners and customers, is really centered in the customer experience area. The emphasis that we have here are really providing technology through our partnerships in our key customers that help create the sort of digital experience that we were just talking about in the case of the Brimborg examples. So against this backdrop, I wanted to talk a little bit with both Anata and Brimborg around the transformation that's happening in customer experience. You mentioned the transformation that you've been investing in over time. And Johann, your company, Anata, as our partner of the year, have heavily emphasized these sort of transformation areas. So maybe beginning with you, Johann, you could talk a little bit about how you've prioritized the types of solutions you're working on with your customers with Microsoft. And then we can talk a little bit about some Brimborg examples.
Sure. Thank you, John. Coming out of the typical DMS or import, distribution, dealer, retail, wholesale, service, aftermarket business, following the trends and following the evolution of the technology stack, we've now focused more and more on these data-driven intelligent systems that facilitate automation and insights to these customer scenarios that you mentioned. And so if you look at the stack, and we'll have a look at it later, the stack of solutions or applications that Anata is providing and innovating around, they all speak to this 360 degrees digital customer experience across devices, across how users are actually using their devices, where the information or data is flowing from, whether that being the vehicle itself, from a third party or outside, or from within the organizations that the customer is dealing with or interacting with. So if you look at the typical cycle that a custodian or a user interacts with a dealer, we are investing and innovating around all the touch points. We are automating around AI and machine learning. We're automating as much of the mundane processing that is currently happening, but we're also suggesting or innovating new ways to create focal points around the biggest value that you find in the processing or in the business as a whole. So it's very, these are very interesting times for us to innovate new, different products within the framework of Dynamics, Microsoft Dynamics, Power Platform, and the Azure services that are provided to support that.
Thanks, Johann. What you described there follows a common pattern that we see with the work that we're doing together with our customers. Often it begins with consolidation of data, creating a central understanding of customers, maybe a single customer ID to drive insights and help support the business. And then on top of that centralized data estate, then there's the opportunity to use solutions like those from Anata to help target the specific areas of transformation that are the highest priority to the business. The evolution of the Anata solutions over time, I think, has been a great example of this sort of adaptation, where we see demand maybe 10 years ago focused primarily on DMS. as Microsoft now, one of the areas that we see is integration with existing DMS solutions while bringing online new experiences around marketing or sales or after sales or mobility. From the standpoint of Brimborg, how do you prioritize the areas that you're focused on? And as you think about the next 12 months, what areas might you be emphasizing in your relationship with Anata?
I can take several examples, but let's take one, for example, about sales of new cars. We created what we call a digital showroom. We worked with Anata. We used our website company, third party, then Anata Dynamics, and then the CRM system and the Power BI. So the customer searches our web, finds interesting cars, sends a request. It goes directly into the CRM. It's picked up by the sales guys. They use the CRM to follow up. We send automatically NPS surveys based on this data. We get feedback if the customer is happy and not during the purchase process, and also in the end. Then we use the Power BI to see how many opportunities we have created each day, each week. That feeds back to the marketing and sales department, who adjusts our marketing mostly on social media today, which directs more customers to our website showroom. This has reduced marketing cost, reduced all kinds of other costs, sales costs, and increased the customer satisfaction. The NPS is going up. So this is one example. Second example is, for example, our tire shops. We have 3 locations, and in Iceland we use studded tires during winter, not allowed to use studs during summer, and you have to change before around 15th of April. It's maybe a 2 weeks period you have to get as many customers in the workshops as possible. We implemented online booking in May last year, and implemented that for all our tire shops and all our workshops. And now when we headed into this season, we saw that we needed to get more customers in a shorter time than before. So we got an idea to have open on a red day, which we normally don't have open. In the past, we probably should have put a lot of marketing into newspapers or radio and so on before. Now we just opened online. The customers were already in there, and we filled a full day in just 2-3 hours. We saw that there was a huge demand out there, so we opened an extra tire shop in our regular workshop, opened another line, filled it up in 2-3 hours. So we got more revenue with almost zero cost using the digital solutions we are using. Same with the rental business. We've been working with Anata now for 3 years to digitize the whole process, and also using third-party web companies, also electronic contracts. So it was already a touchless and quite fast process. Now we lost all tourist revenue, so we need to get more revenue locally. So like 10 days ago, we got an idea to introduce a new offer, and probably next week it will be introduced, totally digital, online, and we are quite optimistic. I don't know any results yet, but quite optimistic it will increase the revenue quite a lot, so we can at least survive that drop in revenues in the rental business. So these are 3 different examples of how we are using the solutions.
Thank you for that. I can't imagine the level of challenge that you and your team at Brimborg are enduring at the moment. But it's helpful to see how you're navigating this, as well as the ways that the team that you have and some of the technologies that you have can be brought together to help cope with this particular situation.
Yeah, it's been very challenging and interesting, and also a lot of learning. Yeah. And also almost none of us managed to meet. So we had to do it all through Microsoft Teams, emails, and of course things like that.
Indeed, including this session here, where we're separated by thousands and thousands of kilometers, but able to consider the direction of the industry and some of the ways that we can help each other be successful in these conditions. As we consider how the evolution of the Brimborg solutions have been undertaken and your relationship with Anata, I was wondering if, Johann, you might spend some time talking a bit about Anata as a company, the platform you've created, and then with it discuss a bit about some of the specific technologies in your portfolio that have been utilized to create the capabilities that he was just describing in the Brimborg business.
Sure, I'll try my best here. So Anata's background has been, as said before, in the DMS business, along with import and distribution, the traditional DMS processes, including the warranty claims processing and the aftermarket. Having formalized a data model around that back-end part of the automotive and equipment businesses, and with the emerging technologies by Microsoft, and the idea of having a common language, a common data model, kind of gluing all the different solutions opportunities onto a single language platform or a data platform, that drove us into rethinking the strategy forward. Now, this is 4 years ago, we started thinking about this in serious ways. And when, upon the common investment between Anata and Microsoft to actually build a first cut of a common data model, we did two things. We natively extended all our applications, then current applications, we built them to natively work with the common data model by Microsoft. We then introduced an extension to the data model to better provide a holistic customer 360 view for the whole industry and support the whole value chain from manufacturing to scrapping of a car or a piece of equipment. And with that, we then started developing or innovating around the Power Platform and the different Dynamics application platforms that have been available, including CRM, the Connected Field Service, and the different apps that are available there. In the last couple of years, we've then taken the step further by introducing machine learning and AI capabilities into all our applications, extend or automate where possible, and use data to drive businesses in different ways. So this is in order for us to kind of create a digital feedback loop or an understanding of a digital feedback loop for our customers so that we can continue to innovate for every customer that we engage with. What we've seen is that bringing all these different solutions, applications together, we've been able to approach and work with our customers to help them innovate around their businesses, to drive forward new business model, to implement quickly new ideas in how they make their assets, the vehicles, and their services available to markets. So as an example, in addition to Brimborg's case of introducing new business models, we have several customers, including OEMs, who are quickly trying to adopt solutions or present or introduce new business model into markets. And we have both the European and other OEMs who are currently using our platform, or adopting our platform to introduce these new business models. And they are doing it very quickly when they understand the entire possibilities that are built within the Microsoft and Anata data platforms and application platforms. So they're quickly able to launch and market new business models, including car sharing for B2B or B2C, and we'll see much more of that going forward. It has been a great experience to work with Brimborg in Iceland on their business and help innovate under challenging circumstances. So I want to ask Egill, you show up every morning, and when you open up your customer, you are able to very quickly get an overview and insight into the status of your business. Can you help us understand what that is all about?
Yes, of course. I think we even have to go back when we started to work together more than 13 years ago to build the platform. But in the last 3-4 years, when we have really put in all these digitizations, including the Power BI, so we have a lot of data. We have a data for over 13 years, and now it's all coming together in different Power BI reports or dashboards. So for me, I can open up these dashboards, and it takes me maybe 15 to 30 minutes to glance over the business, if it's the rental business, the heavy commercial business, new car sales, used car sales, workshops, spare part sales. So I get a very good feeling how things are going the day before, the last week, things like that. So it's really then more simple to discuss with marketing teams or our other managers what to do in the coming days and weeks and months. So and the data is extremely accurate. So I can always count on the data to be correct, and then we can measure that towards our goals and see where we are heading. But you could say it took some investments, it took some money and time, but now we are seeing that it's making us extremely agile. So like you have mentioned, when we get ideas to introduce new businesses or revenue streams, it takes a very short time. It's quite cost effective and works very fast. Just one quick, very simple, small example that we saw, because I mentioned earlier about the tire season, and we of course have a lot of customers coming to our regular workshop or maybe annual service, and we thought, why don't we offer them tire service at the same time? We introduced that. We used the platform. We have the online booking. We know the emails and the phone numbers. So, and we have a SMS feature in the Dynamics system. So we send them SMS just before when they should come to the workshop, offering this new service. And now we have 60, 70 cars a week going through that service in a few days' time, really, and no cost basically at all. So that this agility, and it's growing all the time. On top of this, I look at it as a kind of a platform, then we are adding always small features on that platform.
That's fantastic to hear, Egill. Thank you so much for that. And I can add to that we have now a lot of customers coming to us with their legacy DMS systems, not really wanting to rip and replace everything, but wanting to make use of these new fantastic possibilities that the Power Platform and the data model is providing. And we are saying each and every time, yes, that is a proper option that you have. And the common data model will then function as almost like a fabric to normalize your data for all those new features that Microsoft and Anata are providing on the Power Platform and with the different Azure services. So thank you, Egill.
Thank you.
And thank you, Johann. I think the insight that you summarized down there with Egill's feedback is crucial. And we see this, I think, as a common scenario with many of our customers. Many of them are not as advanced from a digital capability standpoint as Brimborg, but yet we're all facing the pressure to try to adapt to the current situation and then think over the next months or year what other changes need to be introduced. And what you've identified there is the ability to integrate with existing systems, to centralize data, to use tools like the accelerator and CDM, and then target specific areas where a change in the business, whether it's dashboards or an area of customer engagement or an operational process, can be digitized as part of an overall strategy in a very practical way. So as you described it, it's not necessary to switch everything out. You can address this incrementally, but still drive a significant change to help the business and our employees and our communities recover and ultimately be successful, given the challenges we face at the moment. As we close this discussion on the automotive industry and the experiences of Anata and Brimborg, I wanted to thank very much Johann as well as Egill on their insights, particularly for Brimborg in the journey that they have been on with Microsoft. And for the audience watching, wanted to emphasize that Microsoft and our partners are working very closely to try to help provide the best sorts of solutions, people, processes, and technologies to help address the challenges we have at the moment. So if you have questions and want direct follow-up from Microsoft, feel free to reach out to me, as well as to Johann from Anata. Thanks very much for your time today.